Hi friends, it's Jen Leonard with the Little Craft Corner, and I'm going to do something different today as I just became a certified educator with Altenew, and I cannot tell you how excited that makes me feel. It took me about a year to get my certification, but boy was it worth it. So I am a scrapbooker first and foremost, but of course Altenew is known for their cards, so of course I know how to make cards. But I feel like their scrapbooking line doesn't get enough exposure. So I wanted to kind of show you how to use Altenew's paper packs to create some beautiful layouts. What I am focusing on today is Altenew's Wildflower. You get 16 sheets of unique designs. Now, I don't know how many of you are scrapbookers out there, but getting 16 sheets in one pack is pretty amazing, because there's one thing us scrapbookers don't like is when we can't decide which side of the paper that we want to use, because they're both so pretty, and how do we cut up one? But see, Altenew has solved that problem because they give us two of every design. So we don't have to worry about cutting one up because we have them both. So if you wanted to use a double layout as this is your background, well, then there's the problem solved. But what I wanted to show you was absolutely the creativity that you can do. So on this particular paper, you can do some fussy cutting to pop up the flowers on a layout. And on the reverse side, this is a terrific use for your base page or for some borders. So that's page one. Page two, you have some beautiful greens and blues, absolutely perfect for background. And we have stamps that are very similar to this, so you can get the stamp sets to correspond with your paper. Look at this. Is this not beautiful? I can just see a photo with a black base here, and right there you have a lovely scrapbook layout. This is probably my favorite, and one that I will use probably right from the get-go. Here we have another pretty floral. Again, you can fussy cut some of this out, use it as a border. And this is the absolute perfect page as a backdrop. So you can have this as your base page and cut off some of this for strips, start your layout that way. What is a scrapbook page without some black and white? This is neutral and will go with just about anything. Same with these geometric designs. It may look busy, but you cut a tag out of this and oh wow, that's going to look beautiful on a page. Next, we have all kinds of fun little rings here. Again, I'm looking at them. See records, I see rings, I see funky, I see playful, great for a child's page. And then we have this beautiful muted lavender pink, more so actually, that looks like it's a water wash, beautiful backdrop. And now we have these pinks and deep browns in here. Again, mimics one of our stencils, which of course I forget the name of it. I'm so sorry right now, but how wonderful for strips, borders, tags, etc. Same with this page, strips, borders, and tags. Another black and white neutral page, perfect for adding strips to your layout. And this is so much fun for birthdays, parties, celebrations. The same with this. This is too busy to use as a back page, but you cut into strips or some tags or backgrounds, and it'll add some embellishments to your layout. And this, wow, okay, this seems at first really wild, but I have some ideas with fussy cutting, and when this is recreated, well, you're not going to believe this was the same paper. So I'm going to just end here, and for my next video, what you're going to see is me starting to make some scrapbook layouts. Hi crafty friends, and welcome back to part 2 of this video. When we left off, I had just gone over and explained all of the papers in the Wildflower 12 by 12 paper pack. In addition to the paper pack, I also bought the 2 ephemera packs. One is Bitty Bits Wildflower and one is Pink Posy Wildflower. I like to call them embellishments. honestly, because I don't know why, but I can't say the word ephemera too well without struggling. So they're embellishments to me. So what I had done is I emptied these out and I kind of handpicked a few that I wanted to use. So if you see below, this is my layout, but nothing is tacked down at the moment. Everything is sort of just in a draft form. So what I wanted to do was go through each process with you to show you what I did. So we're going to take everything off as if you're going to be scrapbooking right with me. Okay, we're going to start right from the beginning. So the first thing I did was I chose my photos. Having a focal point of photos is really the way to go. So I went with my daughter's bridal shower, which was about 3 years ago, and I just loved all the florals in the dresses and all the colors, and I thought this would be a perfect layout to scrap. So that was my inspiration. Once I had my inspiration, I knew exactly how I wanted to use the paper. So the first thing I did was I fussy cut from one of the pages, and I will show this to you here. So this is the paper that it used to be, and I started fussy cutting the flowers that I wanted. After I got done fussy cutting, what I did was I took some remaining paper, and it has like a chevron up and down stripe, and I wanted to use these to frame my photos. Now with scrapbooking, one thing that we like to do is to be frugal with our paper, because paper is precious and we want to extend the life of it as much as we can. So the strips will go along my photos. But before we even start on that, I'm going to even take this background and make this a little bit more interest by adding some black splatters. So now that our splatters are all dry, the next thing I'm going to do is take some pure graphite ink and an ink blender. And I like to ink my embellishments because one, it kind of gives it a little bit of a dimension, some interest. And I'm also not the best fussy cutter, so it kind of hides my imperfections with cutting. So it has sort of like a multi-purpose. So what I'm going to do is go around and honestly just take every embellishment that I have and give it a little inking all around. So we're just going to repeat the process, strips and all. All right, be right back. We are done inking all of our pieces, and when we start our layout, I tend to follow the same rule as if I was doing card making, where I have like a triangular shape, but you definitely want to have a point of reference and your focal point. So remember these big pieces that we fussy cut, I kind of want to offset them to come off of the page a little bit, but I do want a little paper showing because of all that dimension with our inking. So that's definitely going to be a must. So then we want to get our photos, and because we have 3, now some people like 2 photos, some people like 1. I tend to do 3 because honestly, I have a lot of photos, a lot of kids to scrapbook, and I need to stretch this out as much as I possibly can. So I'm not going to cover up the flower too much. Bring this down here a little bit, kind of get this all ready. I want to bring this over like so. Then we have our strips. And you see I'm still kind of adjusting how I want this, because, and this is kind of what we do. We see that the height of the photos and the width of the flowers, we don't want everything covered up. So we do this, and then we border it on this side, and then we border it up at the top. like so. There we have that. All right. So this is part one. This is the beginning of our layout. So I'm going to get this adhered down and then we'll go on to the embellishments. All right, so now I have adhered my photos and my border, and we will just cut this piece off when we're all finished. So now the next step is to then fill in the spaces to get our journaling down and to add a little bit more interest with some more embellishments. So as you can see now, we have a diagonal line, so we have more of this triangle effect. So when you're doing a scrapbook page, what you don't want to do is have like this, you know, dangling all by itself embellishment or a title just kind of out there in right field. That's imbalanced. So think of clustering when you're doing a layout. So in order to cluster, what I want to do is add some height because we have all of our photos have people that are standing, so we have the height there. We have a lot of horizontal. So to counterbalance some of this, I'm going to take, and again, these were all just fussy cut, you know, out of the paper. And the nice thing is if you didn't even want to buy embellishments, I mean, these are great to have because they're, you know, stick and go. But let's say you're also on a budget. Well, you can just use your own paper for embellishments. So the one thing I always do, and here I'm teaching you, don't adhere your flower down here before you know where you're going to place this, because now I have to do a little cutting and tucking. So you kind of want to do that last. So I'm going to cut this little piece off here. I'm going to tuck these guys in this way. I will come back and I'm going to play to see how I like it. And this is the fun part, you know, this is where you can just kind of play around. I have this guy over here. Let's see how I want him. I think I have to cut off his tail also. We're going to just tuck him behind this. There we go. There we go. Okay, so they're tucked in. And then I have a little happiness is here, perfect day. These are all taken from the ephemera from the Wildflower collection. Okay, so now we have all of this is here. And then what I did was I like doubling up. And again, this is all color coordinated in the same family. Here is that actual same pattern, just in a different color. So I'm going to cluster the tags and I'm going to put a little ribbon in here and add the word awesome to kind of tie that in with my triangle. So I'm going to get this adhered down and then I'll tell you my final steps to make it a very simple layout. And here it is, the complete layout. The final thing that I did was I took some Altenew enamel dots with the Tea Party colors, which actually was a perfect match to our Wildflower collection. I'm so happy that you joined me to see how you too can create a lovely scrapbook page using Altenew products. Bye-bye.